Back in July, we shipped our camper van from the UK to Canada on a mission to drive her all the way to Argentina. We're currently on the east coast of the USA, and this week we take our tiny home on wheels onto the backroads of Maine as our road trip through the state starts to pick up speed, and some weird characters along the way. Welcome to episode 9. So we have left the crowds of Acadia National Park and the coast, and we have driven about 2 hours to inland Maine. Autumn is in full swing here. The trees look incredible, like we've never ever seen colour like it. We parked up last night and this little rest stop at the side of the road. The road is a little bit noisy, but we're just tucked away into this corner here. There's some picnic benches, there's space for the dogs to run around. It's a really, really lovely spot just to spend the night. The reason that we're here and the reason that we've driven 2 hours inland is that we're going to go and hike Gulf Hagas, which is apparently the Grand Canyon of Maine.
With all this driving we've been doing, I've not had to top up the engine water yet, or the coolant, but I do now, so.
Just made it to the park entrance, had to go and register at the kiosk. This whole area is privately owned and managed, so it was $16 each to get in. But this place is absolutely breathtaking.
Look at that.
So there's 2 ways that you could start this trail we're about to do. One of the ways, you have to ford a river that's quite wide, it's very deep and very slippery, and we don't really fancy doing that in this freezing cold weather. So we're going to try and find the other parking area where we don't have to ford the river, but we're not 100% sure, are we?
We've got no clue.
We haven't really got a clue where we're going. It's a lot of dirt roads, and yeah, we're just fingers crossed we can find the car park.
This is a trailhead though.
Yeah, but it's not the right one.
Oh, it's not?
What's really cool is that the Appalachian Trail actually crosses part of this road. If you didn't know, the Appalachian Trail is like one of the most famous through hikes in the world. It goes from the mountains of Georgia all the way up to Mount Katahdin in Maine, and it is on the bucket list to do one day. Like it's the same as like the Pacific Crest Trail in California and on the west coast of the States. But yeah, we're really close to the part of the Appalachian Trail here. This couldn't feel further away from Acadia National Park, could it?
Oh, no.
It feels remote, it feels wild, there's barely anybody on the roads, and in my opinion, it's much more beautiful.
Perfect, right. What does this say? Lyford, Gorman, Grenville, Brownville.
Another one there.
Right, okay. Onward.
Google Maps is saying we've arrived, but I'm pretty sure this isn't a parking area.
Wow, the road is literally potholed, corrugated. It's just a gravel road all the way, but it's definitely worth it as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, go on then.
Oh no. Fuck's sake.
So you knew what you're doing?
I do. There we go. Right. I've got a bit of a dodgy knee from a massive hike we did years ago. And I really need I could really do with a walking stick just to help ease the pressure on my knees. Ben thinks it's hilarious, but anybody who hikes, please let him know that it's actually really good for you to have hiking poles. And in 10 years, I'll be the one laughing.
What are you going to do?
When I'm still hiking mountains.
What are you going to do? Pole vault? Look at the size of that.
Look, the Grand Canyon of the East.
Oh, straight in.
Right, we've made it. So the Appalachian Trail is that way. We're not doing that. Maybe one day. We are doing the Gulf Hagas Rim Trail.
That's That's what she said.
Gulf Hagas is the Grand Canyon of Maine, apparently. It is one of Maine's 14 national natural landmarks. And pets on a leash no longer than 6 foot.
Good girl.
So the path is starting to get a little bit rocky now as we're following like the edge of the gorge. But to our right we have the river, and there's just waterfall after waterfall after waterfall, and that is one of the reasons people do this hike. It's just the amazing views of the waterfalls that you get all along the trail.
Look at this. You just imagine like on a wooden canoe going. One goes one way, one goes the other way around the tree. It's like you're on a movie set.
Well, we have made it down into the gorge. The weather has been kind to us for once. This feels like a film set.
This, guys. Everybody sit.
What are you doing?
Always got to have a crisp sandwich. Look at that.
So it's taken quite a long time to hike because it is so rocky and full of roots, and there's a lot of scrambling, so you just can't really get much speed up, which means we haven't actually made that good a time, to be fair. We have had a
we did stop for
break.
lunch, didn't we? But the problem is like the afternoon's getting away from us, and
yeah, we've got to go out the way we came.
it's probably a good 2-hour hike back as well from here.
So this is why it's taken so long. A lot of the path just scrambles up over this.
Hey, holding up, baby.
Wow, this walk is so tough. My word. So I found out the other day that because this part of the world has very warm days in the autumn and then very, very cold nights. So like right now, I'm hiking without a jumper on, but last night was freezing. We've had frost for the past 3 or 4 mornings. We had the heater on all morning, and it's that contrast in temperature between the day and the night that does something to the pigment in the leaves, and that's why in this part of the world the fall colours are so vivid, because yeah, that shock in temperature makes the pigments really strong. Okay, so Ben's up there with the dogs because it's a bit of a scramble down, but this is officially the end of the trail. This is a huge waterfall. That is your reward for all of that scrambling and hiking. This waterfall just plunges into this huge pool of these like sheer rock faces, and it's just surrounded by like yellow and orange leaves, the most incredible forest, and it is a good waterfall, you know, there's a lot of water coming off it. Okay.
Well done, baby.
Well done. Look at that, the sun is setting. We left at 12:10.
12
for a
it's now
2-hour
6
walk.
o'clock. Okay, who's up first? Go on then. What's really cool is that for the first time I've got a light bar on because nobody's around. I've whacked the light bar on. It just helps see that there's no like potholes anywhere.
Yeah, you can like
Loving
properly
it.
see the road.
Yeah, properly see it. It's nice and bright. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera. Can you?
Yeah.
It's a head. That's 4B on. That's normal.
Yeah.
So 4B, and then.
Oh, that makes such a... This is a bit less scenic than last night.
Oh, it is, but it will do, won't it?
It's nice and easy.
Oh my god.
Didn't
I'm so
hear anything
tired.
out of you guys the whole
No,
time.
these two have just been completely. Oh my god.
Shall we have some dinner?
Yes, I'm starving now. Oh,
It's a
thank
breakfast
you,
in bed
baby.
kind of morning.
Oh, look at these little, hey, little munchkins.
These guys have been sleeping all morning.
We're all very tired after yesterday, aren't we? Chicken chops.
So today we're going to be leaving inland Maine. If we're not careful, we could spend weeks exploring inland Maine. It is just the most incredible mountainous forested landscape. But we have to keep moving. We have to start making our way into Vermont and New Hampshire. We're going to head back towards the coast today and then make our way down towards Portland, which is the capital of Maine. Which is why we came back here last night rather than staying up in like around where the hike was, because we just need to really start making tracks. Stayed at a Walmart car park last night. Pretty decent little spot actually. Nice and quiet little end of the car park. And there she is over there. It is a beautiful autumn day and we are booked onto something very exciting this afternoon.
Alright, we're off.
Halloween is almost upon us. We are well into the swing of spooky season. The houses around here are looking incredible, and this part of Maine that we're in is a place called Bangor, and it has a very famous resident whose house that you can go and see, and it's very fitting that it's near Halloween, so that's what we're going to try and find this morning. Oh, it's here, look, everyone's here. So this is the house of Stephen King. So there's actually loads of people outside, but yeah, this is Stephen King's house, the king of horror. Fun fact, Ben is an absolute horror film buff, like he loves horror films. And the only film that I've known him to be scared of is It, which is obviously a Stephen King novel.
I hate that film.
Cool.
That was really cool, wasn't it? And so many people that turn up, take photos and go, so it's quite, it's quite cool. It lives at the back of it, yeah. And there's a big like Jeep thing around the side, so. But now on to Camden.
Onto the coast.
Onto the coast.
Maine is just so lush and green. These beautiful big houses just set back from the road. We've just arrived in Camden and we're basically queuing to get into the town. It seems very busy, and I'm hoping this isn't a repeat of Acadia where we couldn't find somewhere to park, because today we have to find somewhere to park. So let's keep fingers crossed. There we go.
Okay.
Mine was pretty tight. But
That was, wasn't it? Right.
Does the handbrake work?
Handbrake works good.
We are going sailing. Not many people know that Maine is home to over 3,500 miles of pristine coastline and 2,000 islands that lie offshore. Its mountainous coast is draped in thick forest, best viewed from the deck of a sailboat. We boarded our schooner called Olad and got ready to experience Maine with only the wind in our sails.
Makes me want to get a sailboat. Not yet, but eventually, yeah.
Ben and I are arguing over who would be captain on our boat. I think it would be me. Ben thinks it would be him. So it'll be whoever throws the other person overboard first, then they'd be the captain.
The main coastline from here is absolutely phenomenal.
We couldn't have picked a better day for sailing. This is just perfect. I swear, time passes differently on a sailboat. What felt like 20 minutes turned into 2 hours, slipping past us just like the horizon. Okay, well, all that fresh sea air makes you tired.
I know.
I'm exhausted.
All I did was raise the sail and that's it.
Sat on the deck all day. Honestly, that was the most perfect afternoon of sailing out on the water, and such a cool way as well to see Maine. Didn't expect the coastline to be so like mountainous and forested. It was really beautiful. We're in a little town called Camden. It's this little town right on the coast. There are sailing boats in the harbour, gift shops and delis on the main street. It is so pretty here. We are going to head off, try and find somewhere to park. We've got to go to Walmart, get some food. We need to go and get some water. So we're going to head off, but what a gorgeous little afternoon.
It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, yeah. Oh yeah. Handy on the side of the road, and it's drinking water because it says drinking water. I think this is like an RV dump place because there's a like dumping thing there as well.
Yeah.
So we needed this because we were literally bone dry.
Handy little water fill up in this little picnic park by the side of the road. So because it's quite populated along the coast, it can be quite tricky to find wild camp spots. We've found a couple on our overlander that look okay. So yeah, we're on our way there now and just hoping that at least one of them checks out. Well, this would have been a beautiful spot by this pond. But now there's no overnight parking signs. Right, on to the next one, I guess.
Yeah, where's the next one?
So we're down at this one. We're gonna go and give these two a try up here. Let's see what they're like.
Oh, for the hidden entrance.
Okay, yeah, all clear. This is behind the music theatre, which is this big red.
Okay, right. Oh. Okay.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Too bad, is it, for the night?
Nope. Trailheads are normally a good spot to park for the night.
This is why we like really love parking at trailheads. It's such a bonus that you can just take these guys out and walk them around, and well, we can't go anywhere because they're bloody sniffing everything. Ready, steady, let's go, 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 go. Come on, come on.
Wow. So a lot of the birds here are migratory birds apparently, and they're flying from Canada and Central and South America. No polar bears. I was going to say this morning we were at Stephen King's house. This afternoon we're on the set of the Blair Witch Project.
Let's hope.
River. Can you guess which one's the street dog? One's inspecting it to make sure everything's in there and in the right place and properly mixed in. The other one is Scout. Tonight for dinner we are having veggie meatballs with homemade garlic bread and a nice fresh green salad. This is what our evenings usually look like. I'm cooking. Ben is usually finishing up some work because he can't switch off, and will normally be found watching some sort of crime series, ideally like British crime drama. Right now he's really into Vera.
Vera, love a bit of Vera.
And these guys will be fast asleep. Good morning. We had a very peaceful night's sleep last night. When we took the dogs out before bed, we heard the biggest rustling in these bushes. We think it might have been a porcupine because it sounded like something shuffling. We have still yet to see anything like that though. Like I said, all we've seen so far is squirrels and chipmunks. But today we're going to be heading off to Portland, which is the capital city of Maine. This is our last week in Maine. Next week we head off into Vermont and New Hampshire, which we're very excited about. But I've heard amazing things about Portland, so we're going to see what all the hype is about.
Before we go anywhere, we need to have something to eat so we don't argue.
Yes, we're running a bit late this morning, which is very tempting to not have breakfast, but that is a bad mistake.
Yes. Oh, we saw a snake. We didn't tell anyone. We saw a snake. Oh, I've got a photo on my phone. No, I've got a video on my phone. Yeah. We're walking along the path, and then all of a sudden, Chest leapt out of nowhere. And Scout jumped as well. Leapt out of the way, and there was a snake. It's only a small thing, slithering across the path, which is quite cool.
We have seen a few snakes actually.
Yeah, we have seen a few snakes. You don't really get them. Well, you do get them back home, but you don't see them often.
So we've arrived arrived at a museum, but this isn't just any museum. This is the International Cryptozoology Museum, the only museum in the world dedicated to the research of animals, as of yet unverified by science. We're talking Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, mermaids, and hundreds of cryptids. Inside the museum are one-of-a-kind specimens and rare zoological samples, proving to the discerning visitor that the weird and wonderful do indeed walk amongst us.
Come on now, look, here's one. There we go, we're going to take you home. Come on then. Let's go, let's go. Okay, so this is the legend of the fishmen. 1938, apparently they were proven.
Look at this. What are you doing in here? Look at this.
This is more about your taste.
There are loads of displays of all sorts of different like weird and wonderful creatures, myths and legends, like little specimens of things that they might have found that prove it that it exists.
This is the Dover demon, and I've never heard of it before.
It's an orange shark-skinned creature sighted in the town of Dover, Massachusetts.
Oh, we're going through Massachusetts, aren't we? We're going to have to go and find all these things.
Mulder was real from the X-Files. This is exactly what he would create, isn't it? Yeah. Literally like real life X-Files. Casts from Bigfoot. This was found in Washington. Found in Ohio. Look, there's loads of them.
Casts,
this one looks like your foot.
The cryptoscatology. This beautiful cabinet of
poo. Bigfoot poo, apparently.
That has got to hurt. There's some serious ring sting on that.
Oh, don't be disgusting. So you might see these signs in the background. We did actually get permission. We have written permission from the owner of the museum to film in here. So thank you very much, Lauren. We're all good. These are all the sightings in West Virginia of the Mothman. So what I love here is that a lot of these displays have collections of toys, and they say that they collect toys here like anthropologists and archaeologists collect indigenous folk art and stuff, so that in, I don't know, 300-400 years time and longer, these toys, which we look at now as just like kids' playthings, will actually indicate a lot about how we thought and understood all these kind of myths and legends. So here they've got some replicas of some rock carvings from about 1,000 years ago that supposedly depict Bigfoot or a hairy man. It's called Mayak Datat or hairy man, and it's from San Joaquin Valley in California. They do kind of look like Bigfoot. These are supposedly knuckle casts of Bigfoot. That was so much fun. The guy that creates that museum, it all started off as his private collection, which has now evolved and grown into a fully fledged museum, just full of like curiosities. Reminds me a little bit of Ripley's Believe It or Not museums, if you've been there before. But yeah, it was just, whether you believe it or not, it was just fun to walk around and see, I don't know, Bigfoot footprints and knuckle casts and replica mermaid skeletons and news cuttings of the Mothman. So yeah, lots of fun. And now we are going to head into downtown Portland and see what the city is like. Portland in Maine is an old city that's been settled since the 1600s. The Old Port is an area of original red brick buildings, galleries, cafes, boutiques, and a vibrant nightlife. Despite our best intentions to see as much of Portland as we could, most coffee shops were closed for the day and we were exhausted. We ended up rolling into the nearest Walmart and completely crashed out. Portland was lovely, but we just hit a brick wall. We honestly just went from like 100 to 0. We were absolutely exhausted, and all the coffee shops in Portland seemed to shut at 2 o'clock. So we couldn't even get like an afternoon pick-me-up. We ended up coming to the nearest Walmart and just crashing. I just think we were in need of some rest. It's been a really busy couple of weeks, driving down through Maine, seeing as much as we can, and I think our bodies were just like, no more. But yeah, Portland was really, really lovely, and yeah, next week we head into Vermont and New Hampshire. If you have any recommendations on things we should do, places we need to go and see, please let us know in the comments. It's one of our favourite ways to find new places. And for now, we're gonna sleep, get some rest, and we shall catch you guys next week.